Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to our experiment, the 100 person project. I'm Bill Carell, and this is my investigation. Simple Questions for 100 People is a research project to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. The questions are fixed, and all interviews will remain consistent, with the variable being the actual participants themselves. Leah, it's kind of like I'm having you come over and sit on my porch to share your ideas so I can learn about people.
Okay.
We're looking forward to what we're going to discover when we're done and very interested in the people, the process, and your particular story. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my guest. Well, how about I let you do that?
I
What
am Leah Gallen.
is that your full name?
Leah Ann Gallen.
There you go. Okay, great. And what is your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
So I actually have two. My nickname is Bob, but a nickname that I don't get called very often, but used to get called, I get called by my oldest sister, is Booger.
Which I'm sure you love.
Yes.
How can you not? Yeah. And now, how did that happen? Is there a story behind it?
I don't remember. She's called me Booger since I was little. She's 6 years older than me, so she's just been calling me Booger since she was like 10.
How about that? Just a term of endearment. And
Yes.
do any of the other siblings call you that?
No, just my oldest sister.
They wouldn't dare, would they?
No, I'd beat them.
All right. So, Leah, when did you first notice what color hair you had?
I believe I was little because I realized that my hair color was different from my older sister. She had dirty blonde hair and I'm a natural brunette.
Interesting. And how did that make you feel?
Um, like I wanted to dye it. I'm more of a redhead, so I go red now since I've been going red since I was probably 13.
Yeah. Yeah, redhead. I used to date a redhead in high school, and she said they were the superior race.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
That's a good one. Um, I like to watch the show New Girl. I've seen it the whole show probably 6 or 7 times. And I just put that on in the background and just play on my phone.
Good for you. And would do you consider that wasting time, or is that what it seems like now that I'm asking you the question?
No, it's definitely wasting time.
Good. Now, a lot of people have a hard time, first of all, admitting that they actually waste time. And then the people that are kind of really in touch with themselves, no problem at all. I do this like 60 hours a week, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, my next question, which is also a media thing, what is your favorite movie to watch alone?
That's also a good one. I really love, well, there's a couple, but I really love A Cinderella Story. It's back from like 2005 and it's Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
I love it. And then I also love watching Elf because it's just so funny. And I love Zooey Deschanel. She's the main character in New Girl, and Zooey Deschanel's in Elf. So,
Yeah, Will makes a lot of people smile, doesn't he?
yeah.
And he can be a real creep and still make people smile.
Yes, exactly.
So, what's your reason for wanting to watch those alone?
Um, I just enjoy them. I like watching movies that I have seen that other people haven't seen so I can see their reactions.
Yeah.
But I love those movies.
I think that's good justification. I like it. We'll move on now, Bill. If you were to have an action figure made of you, Leah, what superpower would it have and what colors would its uniform be?
I would be able to fly And the colors would be orange and purple.
Orange and purple. All right. So now you've got the ability to fly. What do you do with that?
Oh, I just would fly anywhere. I would go to different countries. I mean, I'd be like an
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
A live performance. So you'll be able to go to different countries, which you do anyway, right?
I try to as much as I can.
Yeah, that's great. And then tell me about the colors again.
Orange and purple are my favorite colors.
That's funny.
Orange number 1, purple number 2. And I just feel myself when I wear orange and purple.
Feel yourself. I like that. That's kind of like how you identify, right? Excuse me one moment, okay? Hey there. I'm actually recording a podcast. Absolutely, probably about 15, 20 minutes. And my producer will have to now edit this portion or just leave it in because it's live it's live video. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, I'm back now.
Okay.
That was one of my siblings.
Ah.
Anybody else, I just would have sent them back to email again.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So now we're back to your favorite colors for the uniform. Would it surprise you to know that quite a few people, including me, I'm more purple and gold than purple and orange, but you know, we're in the same ballpark, I want to say.
Purple stands for power.
Say some more. I like that.
Also, a royalty color.
Yeah.
So
It is, isn't it?
yeah.
I think the story behind that is that it was a very, very rare dye that had to come all the way from the Orient or some silly nonsense like that, and so expensive that it was only used to be a royalty color.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best I can do on short notice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now back to question number 7. What did you want to grow up to be when you were 5 years old?
A pie maker.
PIE?
PIE.
All right, now let's get into this. That's really awesome. And where did that come from?
I started making pies around that time. And I believe when I was 7, my mom bought me a top of the line pie plate. She bought me a Pampered Chef pie plate. And
Wow.
at that time, I was making a pie a day. And I said, this is what I want to be when I grow up. I want to make pies.
That's absolutely awesome. So, what different kinds of pies did you make, and what was your favorite?
My favorite is blueberry. What? Maine wild blueberry.
Yeah,
I would make apple, pumpkin, blueberry, cherry because my dad's favorite is cherry.
yeah,
I've done pecan pie before.
that's my
Uh,
favorite.
Never rum raisin, even though that's my grandmother's favorite because that's disgusting.
That generation really, I don't know how they got to that. They probably didn't have any choice of the other ones, and that's all they got was rum
Yeah.
raisin. After you've cooked it in the oven, all the alcohol kind of like evaporates from the rum. So, I mean, seriously, you should put the rum in
Yeah,
afterwards, I think.
I agree. I agree.
If you're floating those raisins in rum, now you got something, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was your favorite kind of crust?
I liked. Well, I sometimes would do like a crumble topping,
Yep.
but just traditional. I used flour, butter, or shortening, depending because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So sometimes it was shortening,
Yeah.
or sometimes it was margarine, a little bit of sugar and water, and that you just roll it out and
Yeah.
egg wash on top.
Yeah, we were one of those families that had a lot of kids and not a lot of income at the end of the week. So
Yeah.
sometimes my mom would use lard or something of that nature. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we usually didn't have shortening in the house. It was either margarine or lard. Those were the two things that she typically cooked with.
We typically stayed away from margarine because my dad would always say, "Oh, that's not good for you." But when you can get the margarine for 1/8 the price of butter.
True story. Yeah, and that's kind of like, especially when you've got that many folks sitting around a table, you got to
Definitely.
spread the dollar as far as it'll go.
Hmm.
So, this one I'm really looking forward to hearing your answer. What is your greatest accomplishment?
So I read that question and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I would say um, all the work I've done with yoga, getting my yoga, my 200-hour certificate, and now I'm working on my 800-hour yoga therapy license certificate. Um, and I finished the first 2 modules of that this past summer, and it was hard. It was a month. I was in school for a month, and I finished the first 2, and I'm very proud of myself for that.
Yeah. Good for you. That's something I didn't know about you at all.
Wow.
That takes a lot of dedication. And how do you actually demonstrate that you've completed the hours?
So for yoga therapy, I haven't completed it yet. There's 800 hours. I've done 200 hours, so I have a lot more schooling to do for that. But I haven't taught yoga in a classroom since COVID began. Um, I used to teach in Rhode Island, and I loved it, but I want to get back into it. It's just now I just moved back to this area back in March. So I still haven't really found a place to teach again.
Yeah. March. That sounds consistent with when we started running into each other over at our favorite restaurant,
Yes.
or one of our favorite restaurants. We've got to be all inclusive here because
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I eat a lot of different places.
Mainly Apollo and Asian Bistro.
Well,
For me.
they're in the top 5, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I got one more for you. Who is your favorite person to listen to?
Lydia.
All right. So for you at home, Leah knows that I know who Lydia is really well, and I actually have known Lydia for either 2 or 3 years, it seems. During COVID for sure, working at Apollo. So say some more about those conversations and why is she your favorite person to listen to?
She just has such a bubbly personality. She's my little sister. She's 7 years younger than me. And she's just so interesting and she makes me laugh. She makes herself laugh, which makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And she just always has something, I would say 98% of the time, always is positive. And she can really cheer me up when I'm down.
I get that. Just looking at her smile makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yes.
I completely get that. Now, where is she? Is she the youngest of the
No,
family?
I'm number 4. She's number 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And I really appreciate that relationship that the 2 of you have. It's pretty inspiring to me, and I hope you're okay that I use you that way because you're both great people.
Thank you.
So, please complete this sentence. When I grow up, I'd like to.
Be a yoga therapist.
All righty then. And you've got roughly 600 more hours, right?
Yes.
And what will that do for you? What do you think? Tell me more about, what's driving you to do that? What difference do you see that makes in the world for you?
Um, well, just in the training I've done so far, I've already learned a lot more about yoga and its place
Yeah.
in the for me, it has a lot to do with health issues. I have rheumatoid arthritis, so therefore my joints are not healthy. And I want to be able to help people with joint issues, whether that be Lyme disease, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, unknown joint problems, you know. So I want to be able to help people have better and fuller lives through their joint pain.
That's amazing. What I know about you is you're just an all-around healer. Your main focus in life is to make people's lives better because you're in service to them. And this is very inspiring. I'm learning lots here today. Thank you. So the next question is, what is the most important thing in life to you right now?
My nieces and nephews.
Say some more. How many do you have?
I have 6 right now.
Yeah.
Not counting, I have a bunch more that are my nieces and nephews just from my friends.
Yep.
But my siblings, my oldest sister has a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
My sister Hannah has 2 boys and a girl, and my brother Stephen has 1 girl.
It's amazing. Now, do you like them in a group? Do you like them in maybe small groups? Do you like them one-on-one? What's your favorite way to interact with your family that way?
It depends. I love when they're all together. Actually, they haven't all been around together because the newest one is still an infant. So she hasn't been. I'm hoping maybe Christmas around the holidays we'll all be together so I can see how they interact with her.
Wow.
But the older 2 girls are 5 and 4, and they talk a lot, and they are so bright and so smart, smarter than their mothers. I don't know. They get it from their fathers, I think. Actually, my sister and I were just joking about that today. She was saying how smart her 4-year-old is, and I said, I think she got that from her dad.
Little left-handed comment there, right? Left-handed compliment. Yeah. I think it's remarkable, and I really appreciate that age because they're uninhibited, unabashed. They don't have any concern about getting something wrong, And I wish adults would behave that way more often, within limits, not too much over the top, and never when you're acting out. But in terms of playing, in terms of being able to be fully present and using mindfulness is kind of like that's how they are all the time, paying attention to everything all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. I would like to join you when you play with your nieces and nephews at some point. That would be a ball.
Sometimes they go to Apollo, so maybe one night we'll all be there.
I'll tell you what, if you give me a heads up, I'll go out of my way to drop by just so I can see this beautiful family all together.
All right, sounds good.
Excellent. So here we're getting close to the end in terms of my scripted questions. What would you like to leave in the world after your life is done, Leah?
Oh, that one, I read that question and I said, I have no idea. Let's see. I would like it to be left a little bit better than it was before for my family and mainly for the people that I hope to one day help through yoga therapy.
Yeah.
And that's, leave a spot on all the children, whether they be my nieces and nephews or my friends' children's. That their Auntie Leah was just a great person and she helped a lot of people and did a lot for the community.
There's no doubt in my mind that's exactly what will happen.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you've got a huge fan club just in your own family. So here's the baker's question. No, lucky 13. When you go to a good bakery, you got
You 13, not 12.
Exactly. Okay. Especially if they know you got a big family. So you're always that baker's dozen. What is the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
This again, I was like, I don't know. People think I'm happy all the time or I'm feeling good all the time, but I'm not. I struggle with depression and I struggle with a lot of pain because of my arthritis. But I like to put on a happy face. I like to smile. I like my happiness to rub off on others. So I think I'm misunderstood that way. Only really my closest friends and families see that I struggle so much.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing for you to say, because I would be one of those people who, as time goes on, and the more we sit next to each other during dinner, the more I get to see, the range of reactions to certain things. And it's clear to me that you do enjoy smiling, and you do enjoy getting that reflected smile back from whoever you're with. At least I feel that way when I'm with you. But I also know that just because you're positive doesn't mean you don't have thoughts in your mind that are negative. Everybody has both sides of that. It's the front of the hand, back of the hand kind of a thing. You have to have one in order to have the other, and you can't have one without having the other. And what that typically means is that if you are really, really one of those people that can get up, then correspondingly, your ability to go down is kind of like that amount as well. And so I got one more question for you. Is this when you phone a friend and you dial 1-800 Lydia Smile?
Mhm.
Yep, I get it. I really do. So now I'm going to ask you: do you have any questions of me, or anything else that's on your mind that you'd like to talk about?
Not really. This has been very interesting.
Yeah,
I kind of had an idea of, the nickname Booger and Bob. I mean, I knew those, and I knew I wanted to be a pie maker, and I know my favorite colors, my superpowers. But it's been interesting to think about the other answers as well.
yeah. Yeah, and not for nothing, you are an extremely intelligent, thoughtful person to begin with. So it's been a lot of fun watching you work, and come up with your answers, because I felt like in some cases it might not have been exactly what you were thinking about before. And in other cases, it was clear that, obviously there's only one answer to this question, right?
Mm.
Booger and Bob. I mean, how much deeper are you going to look at that one, right?
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I want to thank you, because I'm doing this out of a totally selfish idea that every last one of us is unique and absolutely wonderful. And then if we're asked, our innermost thoughts on some things that are kind of nonsensical and not that, heavy duty, what's going on with politics. And I think we relate to each other really, really well, just as fundamental people.
I agree.
I'm really hoping to be proved right about that, because at the moment we're finding elbow room with about almost 8 billion other folks around the world, and we've got to treat each other, I think, better than it seems like we're treating each other over the last 2 or 3 years. And I want to thank you for participating in this and for genuinely being my partner in this investigation.
All right. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Any last thoughts or anything you'd like to say to your listening public?
Smile more and have a great day.
I got nothing else. Thank you so much. And
Thank
thank you at home for listening to our podcast. Simple questions for 100 people. And this has been Leah Gallen. And I've learned some amazing things about you. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find every episode at exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.